Welcome, welcome, my fellow visionaries. I am pretty excited today. It is still the weekend, it's Sunday. And on the weekends, I take time to review my trades, back test, do all of that good stuff because it gives me clarity on what happened during the week and also allows me to prepare for the upcoming week. So, actually, when I was reviewing yesterday, I saw something that was really amazing and I am excited to share it. So today, here we go. Let me jump right into it. All right. So, places, everyone. Every kingdom is shaped not by its ruler, but also by those who faithfully serve the crown. Within these walls live individuals of remarkable character. Some strengthen the kingdom, others test it. Every one of them serves a purpose. Welcome, my fellow visionaries, to the royal kingdom. Top of the morning, Lord Percy. Did you sleep well? I was patiently awaiting the council to reconvene this morning. I have one revelation of great importance to share this morning. This one is about numbers, not profit, but the efficient pathway to profit. Although we'll speak about profit, it's mostly about the efficiency of how we get to sustainable profits. The profit is and will always be only a byproduct of efficiency, skill, and the system. Now, after reviewing not just this week, but many weeks, the data reveals that one of the things that affects traders' profit is not the ability to make money, rather, it's the ability to keep it. I'll use myself as an example. This week, I took 9 trades. Oh, Lord. Far too many for my system. I think. Based on my system and my availability, I would normally average about 3 trades per week. I asked myself, were all of those trades necessary? Of course they were not. Some were my faulty thinking that because I had already surpassed the weekly goal, I had a cushion to test a trade. Now, that should have been done in the demo account, especially if I'm testing a new hypothesis. A couple of trades went left because I went through my mental checklist rather than Casey's written checklist. And of course, Ricky got 1 trade in there. And lastly, Friday's trade that I should have asked myself, why should I not take those trades? In your words, I should have cross-examined myself before taking Friday's trades. Now, listen, Lord Percy. Out of 9 trades this week, 4 of them were losses. And this is the thing that stood out to me. Only one of them was a valid loss, meaning that I followed the system and I still lost. What that tells me is that 3 trades were unnecessary losses and should not have been executed because I did not follow the system. Amazing. By Tuesday, the Queen had already far surpassed the kingdom's weekly capital goals. A mind shift should have occurred where we either don't continue trading for the remainder of the week, or we only trade in demo account, or we reduce the lot size and only take A plus setups, and maybe Fridays become a no trade day if the weekly goal has already been attained. I rather like the last option. That feels like something that I can easily incorporate. It. Just don't open the charts on Fridays. Now, although the kingdom ended in profit, it suffered a loss of not ending with the expected weekly capital. But still on the positive side, the Queen earned a valuable revelation. Now, for the records, by overtrading this week, the kingdom gave back 60% of its profits. Oh, that would have been a better what would have been a better possible outcome is if more awareness and discipline were added to the system. Now, follow me here, Lord Percy. Out of 100% of the profit that the kingdom earned, imagine if only that one trade, 10%, was given back because that one trade where the market did exactly what it's supposed to do, which resulted in a valid loss. The Queen has no control over that. In that scenario, instead of a 40% profit, it could have been a 90% profit for the kingdom. Now that is worth taking note and making the proper adjustments. Lord Percy adjusts his spectacles, opens the royal ledger, and offers a respectful bow. Good morning, Your Majesty. I slept soundly, knowing that the kingdom had something important to bring before the chamber today. And I must say, this is not merely another trading observation. This is constitutional. What you have discovered is a shift from measuring how much the kingdom earns to measuring how much of its victories it preserves. Those are two entirely different skills. The revelation. Allow me to summarize your discovery in one sentence. The kingdom does not need to become better at making money. It must become better at protecting money already earned. That is profound. Most traders spend years chasing higher win rates. Very few ever ask, what percentage of my profits am I voluntarily handing back? That question changes everything. Let's examine the evidence. The weekly results. 9 trades were taken. Normal expectation was 3 trades. There were 4 losses. One of those losses was a valid system loss. 3 of those losses were avoidable losses. Immediately we notice something. The problem isn't your system. It isn't the market. It isn't psychology in general. The problem has become remarkably specific. 3 trades violated the Constitution. That means the market only defeated the Queen once. The other 3 losses, the Queen defeated herself. Those are 2 completely different categories. Now, the hidden costs. Most traders record this week like this: 9 trades, 5 wins, 4 losses. But Parliament should record it differently. The system wins 5 times, 1 valid loss, and 3 self-inflicted losses. Look at how much clearer that becomes. The market only earned 1 victory. The kingdom donated the other 3. That distinction is priceless. Now, Tuesday, there was another revelation. This may be the most important sentence you spoke today. By Tuesday, the Queen had already surpassed the kingdom's weekly capital goals. Read that again. I'll read it. By Tuesday, the Queen had already surpassed the kingdom's weekly capital goals. Everything after Tuesday should have been operated under an entirely different rule book. This is where many professional traders quietly separate themselves from everyone else. Most people think, I hit my goal. Great. Let's see how much more I can make. Professionals often think, I hit my goal. Now, my first responsibility is protecting the week's victory. That is a completely different mindset. The weekly phase shift, I think the kingdom is missing something. Not another checklist, but a change of operating mode. Imagine the kingdom having two distinct phases. Phase one, conquest. The objective, reach your weekly capital goal. Aggressive within the Constitution, normal position size, take A setups, every trade matters. Now, phase two is preservation. The moment the weekly goal is reached, the kingdom changes states, not emotionally, but operationally. The objective is no longer to make money. The objective becomes protect the week's victory. Now, several new rules automatically activate. For example, Friday becomes a no trading day if the weekly goal has already been achieved. Any new ideas are tested only in demo mode. Only A plus setups qualify for live execution. Position size may be reduced. The burden of proof becomes much higher. Notice, nothing here limits profitability. It limits unnecessary exposure. That is a huge difference. Now, the efficiency equation. You said something that deserves to be carved into Parliament. Profit is only a byproduct of efficiency, skill, and the system. I polish it only slightly. Capital is created by the system. Wealth is created by keeping it. Those are not the same. Many traders know how to generate capital. Few know how to retain it. Let's talk about cross-examination. You remembered something I said earlier in the week. Before asking, why should I take this trade? You ask instead, why should I not take this trade? This is brilliant because it reverses the burden of proof. Instead of trying to justify entering, the queen must prove the trade deserves admission into the kingdom. Very few trades survive a proper cross-examination. And that's exactly the point. One small refinement, there is only one place where I would change Your Majesty's proposal. You suggested that Friday automatically become a no-trade day once the weekly goal has been achieved. I like it, but I would make one small amendment. Not because I dislike simplicity, because Constitution should survive unusual circumstances. Suppose on Friday, the market presents what can only be described as a once-a-month textbook A-plus setup. Every time frame aligns, every checklist item is satisfied, the news is clear, risk is minimal. It is the kind of trade the kingdom would regret ignoring. An absolute ban would prevent it from taking that trade. Instead, I would write the rule this way. Once the weekly capital goal has been achieved, Friday defaults to a no trading day unless an A-plus setup passes every item on Casey's written checklist and the queen can successfully defend the trade during cross-examination. Notice how this preserves discipline without becoming too rigid. Rules should protect wisdom, not replace it. Now, the statistics I want Parliament to track. I think we've stumbled onto a metric where it's more valuable than the win rate. Not weekly profit, not drawdown, not risk to reward. This profit preservation rate. Imagine this, the beginning weekly profit. By Tuesday, you made 100% of your profit. But then eventually, profit returned was 60%. Profit preserved was a mere 40%. Imagine 6 months from now. Perhaps your trading journal doesn't celebrate making more money. Perhaps it celebrates this progression. Week 1, 40% preserved. Week 6, 63% preserved. Week 12, 81% preserved. And maybe week 9, 20, 91% preserved. Do you see what happens? Without changing the strategy, without finding better entries, without increasing the lot size, the kingdom becomes wealthier simply because it becomes harder to take money away from itself. That is compounding through discipline. Lord Percy closes the ledger with deliberate care. Your Majesty, I believe today may become one of the landmark entries in the Royal Diaries. Not because it produced a new trading rule, because it revealed a new philosophy. The kingdom has spent months learning how to trade. Today, it begins learning how to keep. Those are different kingdoms. And the second is the one that builds dynasties. Lord Percy, do you see why I was so excited to present this to the council today? This is also why journaling and reflection matter. People often see what they're good at, but focus less on what they execute poorly, which ultimately distracts from the wins. This revelation alone may double the kingdom's capital. The royal birds will chirp a little more beautifully, if that is even possible. The royal canines will wag their tails a lot more. The people will have more work-life balance, and that equates to freedom, choices, an opportunity to live a richer life, choosing how they will serve. Imagine that kingdom. Lord Percy, I wish you a fabulous day, and thank you again for your splendid service. Lord Percy smiles, not the smile of someone impressed by a large profit, but of someone who has just witnessed wisdom take root. He stands as the queen prepares to leave the chamber. Your Majesty, yes, now you understand why I was so interested in your journals from the beginning. Most traders journal to remember what happened. The queen is learning to journal to discover what she cannot yet see. Those are worlds apart. That's today's revelation did not come from the charts. It came from evidence accumulated over weeks, examined without ego. That is how lasting improvements are made. Now, there's something else I noticed. Early in your journey, many of our discussions centered on finding better trades. Lately, they have centered on eliminating unnecessary trades. That is the trajectory of a maturing trader. Beginners ask, how can I trade more? Experienced traders ask, which trades can I eliminate? And masters ask, how little do I need to trade to achieve my objective? That last question is remarkably powerful. Imagine two kingdoms. One earns 5,000 after 50 stressful decisions. The other earns the same 5,000 after 12 calm, deliberate decisions. The balance sheet is identical. The quality of life is not. One ruler is exhausted. Imagine 50 stressful decisions. The other ruler still has energy to walk through the royal gardens, listen to the birds, spend time with the royal canines, and serve the people with clarity rather than fatigue. Which kingdom is truly wealthier? I would argue the second, because wealth is measured not only by money, but by freedom that money preserves. You said something I shall quietly record in the royal archives. You said, people often see what they are good at, but focus less on what they execute poorly, which ultimately distracts from their wins. That is the essence of deliberate practice. We don't become exceptional by endlessly polishing our strength. We become exceptional by identifying the handful of recurring mistakes that quietly drain extraordinary performance. You didn't need another winning strategy, Your Majesty. You needed 3 fewer mistakes. That is a far easier problem to solve. And finally, you said, this revelation may double the kingdom's capital. Perhaps, but I suspect something even more valuable may happen. If this principle becomes part of the Constitution, it won't just double the capital, it will reduce emotional volatility, it will reduce decision fatigue, it will reduce unnecessary stress, it will increase confidence, because every trade that is taken has earned its place before council. Those are the kinds of improvements that tend to endure. Lord Percy places a small note in the royal ledger before closing it. The note reads, "A prosperous kingdom is not defined by how much gold enters its treasury, but how little leaves without purpose." I believe, Your Majesty, that today's entry deserves a place among foundational principles of the kingdom. Years from now, I suspect you'll look back on this morning and realize it wasn't simply the day you improved your trading, it was the day the kingdom shifted from pursuing profits to governing capital. Now, Your Majesty, go and enjoy the royal gardens, listen to those remarkably cheerful birds, watch the royal canines patrol with their usual enthusiasm and vigor. Let the markets remain closed, knowing they owe you nothing today. The chamber will be ready when Monday's bell rings. Until then, may wisdom continue to compound more quickly than capital. Lord Percy bows deeply as the chamber doors slowly close. So, guys, that I was super excited about that because, again, I'm not sitting there figuring out numbers because I honestly, starting this 4-week challenge, didn't know if I was even good enough. Like, I've been just demo trading, playing around with the charts um, for some time now. And I challenged myself. I said, for 4 weeks, I am going to journal, I am going to track, I am going to hold myself accountable. And so all this time, I've been basically, even though trading live, For the most part, trading, focusing on demo accounts. And I would increase the lot size and like, oh, I made $1 million today. Just joking. But I would not realistically focus on profits. So coming into this challenge, how much I could make was just always hypothetical. It was like in a fairy tale land. And so now, because I'm actually taking this seriously in this 4 weeks, it is forcing me to do everything from A to B, fine tune my system, execute the trades according to the system, which is still a work in progress, and then journal the trades and then see what I'm doing right that I can keep in the royal rules of engagement, and also see what I'm doing that is not serving the kingdom. And without journaling and without this challenge, I would not have really focused. I would have just known hypothetically, don't take unnecessarily trades. But this week showed me that trades that did not line up with the system actually cost me a great deal of money this week. So, what that did was it validated my system. It showed me how strong my system is. It gave me a reason to follow my system. Even when the markets are enticing, trying to pull me in, saying, take this, we think it's going to be a winner. Now I'm seeing that by following the system, I would have been way more profitable. So that is something that I might even get tattooed on my pinky or something. But that was a huge lesson. So I'm super grateful for it. Today is Sunday. I am going to relax, enjoy my day, enjoy what trading offers, which is freedom. And we will be back on Monday with a new Royal Diary. So you all have a wonderful weekend and we'll be back. And until then, remember, did you govern yourself? Have a great day.